What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 17 of Film Time with Fava, brought to you by Fired Up Network. I hope you're ready to get into this episode because I know I am. Now, this week, I will be reviewing the new Venom movie, Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, directed by Andy Serkis. It's a very recent release. Usually I have a bit of trouble getting to see the movies right when they come out, but this time I was lucky enough to see it in theaters with my roommates and friends. So yeah, I'm going to give you my thoughts, review on the movie today, positives and negatives, thoughts on the post-credit scene. Spoiler alert, it is crazy. Yeah, just a spoiler alert in general for this review. I will be talking about spoilers for the movie Venom, Let There Be Carnage, as well as other things. I might touch on the most recent episode of What If as well. So yeah, if you don't want to see spoilers for that, maybe watch the movie and the new What If episode first and then come back and watch this. Also, a reminder, guys, if you want to follow me on social media, it is at Film Time with Fava. That is the Instagram for the show. There I'll be posting updates on the show and just fun and funny clips. And if you want to follow my personal account, it's at Favalicious. Just see what I'm doing on life, you know. If you want to see what I'm up to, go on there. And then Twitter, we got A_Fav24. Once again, just see what I'm up to in life. I'll post some clips on there too. We'll see. So anyways, let's get right into the movie. So as I stated earlier, Venom 2 Let There Be Carnage is directed by Andy Serkis. I forget if I said Andy Serkis earlier or Woody Harrelson as the director, but it is Andy Serkis, who I love. He's one of my favorite actors. I love Planet of the Apes. He played Caesar, the main character in that, and he's just an expert at motion capture, acting in general. Like, he's just a legend. He played Gollum. He played Caesar in the Marvel movies. He plays Ulysses Claw. Probably a lot of other acting credits I don't know about. He's just a very underappreciated actor that needs to. He really deserves that Oscar, I'm telling you. But besides that, the movie, I'll get into the performances first. So the lead character is, of course, Tom Hardy, who plays Venom. And this, I've always loved this casting from the very first Venom. In Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, if you remember, Venom was played by Topher Grace, aka Eric Foreman from that 70s show. And while I love him as an actor, he is not Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock is supposed to be a big, like, massive guy who really makes Spider-Man or Peter Parker look like a weak guy. But Topher Grace did not do that. He was, if anything, smaller than Tobey Maguire. But Tom Hardy, as we've seen him bulked up for Bane, he's a foreboding presence for sure. And he plays the character of Eddie Brock very well. He's very believable in the role. A little funny at times, but what I've noticed with these Venom movies is that they do really lean into the comedy side, and I'll get into that a bit more in the review. But overall, Tom Hardy as Venom, I think it's great casting. He does the character very well. He really bounces off the Venom part of himself very well. It's almost like a buddy movie with Venom and Tom Hardy, except they're both the same person, I guess. Other notable performances, Woody Harrelson plays the big bad of this movie, one of the most popular Venom-related Spider-Man villains, Carnage, aka Cletus Cassidy. And yeah, I like him in this role. I like not Tom Hardy, Woody Harrelson a lot as an actor. White Men Can't Jump, the final new Planet of the Apes movie, War for the Planet of the Apes. I thought he was excellent as the Colonel in that. In the Hunger Games movies, he plays Hamish I think it's Hamish Abernathy. I might be getting his last name wrong, but he plays like the mentor of Katniss and Peeta. He's great in that role. He's great in every role I've seen him in, and this is no different. He really brings a presence to the screen. Definitely ups the ante in terms of villains, because in the first Venom we had Riz Ahmed as Riot, and while Riz Ahmed is a great actor, don't get me wrong, his villain was not that like dominant of a presence to where we were kind of like, wow, this is the villain. And I think that also has to do with the fact that not many people know who Riot is. But when you hear the name Carnage, a lot of Spider-Man fans or just Marvel fans or movie fans in general, they'll know what that means. And he really brought Carnage to life. The CGI on Carnage was excellent. I'll get into the CGI more later. But yeah, no, Woody Harrelson was very good in this role. Nothing really to complain about here, but also nothing like super crazy special. Like I don't think it I don't think it's better than his role in Planet of the Apes movies per se, but still great casting, great job by Woody Harrelson. And yeah, overall good job there. Then as the main love interest of Eddie Brock, we got Michelle Williams as Anne. And I've always thought she was pretty good in these movies. The first one, I thought she was really good as his love interest. What I like about these movies is that they kind of stray away from the stereotypical guy girl situation, because in these Eddie Brock actually loses her as his fiance at the beginning of the first Venom, and then now she's with another guy. She's been proposed to, and it's not like in Spider-Man 2 where Mary Jane's about to get married and then goes back to Peter Parker. No, she's like still with the guy at the end of the movie. But no, I've always liked her in this role. She always I liked how they didn't just cast like a super young person for this role. Like they cast someone who looked more like Tom Hardy's age. And that was nice to see, you know, not just like the stereotypical damsel in distress. Like she's also a very independent character, as we see. She's always like making the plan, she's always helping Eddie out. Yeah, and she really plays that role well of kind of the pants wearer of that relationship, even though her and Eddie aren't actually together anymore. Also, special shout out to Tom Hollander, who plays Dan, who's like Anne's new fiance. He's just a normal guy that's been caught up in this like alien symbiote stuff, and he just plays that role really well. It's really funny to see. It's funny to see Venom just hating this guy just because he's with Anne, because he wants Anne to be with Eddie. It's really funny to see that. Oh yeah, so the other main villain in this movie, Naomi Harris as Shriek, who's Carnage's love interest. Basically, her power is kind of like a Black Canary from DC. She just like screams really loud and like bursts people's eardrums. Like nothing super bad about this casting or anything. Just like the character, I feel like the way it was written didn't really do a ton for me personally. There's especially this scene at the end where basically Carnage and this girl had like burned down buildings, killed people, all this stuff. But then Carnage has Anne, Eddie's ex-lover, like in his arms and saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill her, Eddie, like to get revenge on you." And then at that point, the girlfriend says, "Oh, you've gone too far, Cletus." It's like you just like killed a bunch of people and burned down a bunch of buildings, but this is too far. I don't know. I felt like it was just kind of lazy writing to set up the fact that she was gonna die. I don't know. Anyways, that about does it for the one last performance I want to talk about, and that is Peggy Lou as Mrs. Chen. She returns in this movie. She's the convenience store owner that Eddie, you know, he goes to that store a lot. She's one of the only people that knows about Eddie's secret, that he has Venom. He basically protects her store from like burglars too. It's a good little compromise. And in this movie, we get to see her with the symbiote in her for the first time, and that was really funny to see. Miss Chen, just great performance, funny character. Not much else to say. Nothing bad about her. But yeah, that's gonna just about do it for the performances. So now I'm going to talk about the positives of this movie, besides the performances, which are for the most part positive. So first positive, the comedy in this movie is excellent. That was my favorite part of the movie. As I said earlier, it seemed like a buddy cop movie almost, like Venom and Eddie, even though they're in the same body. It's like they're just bouncing off each other so well. And especially at the end in the fight, you hear like Venom sees Carnage for the first time. He's like, "Oh crap, this guy's red. I'm out." And he just like goes back into Eddie, and Eddie's like, "Hey man, like we have to fight right now. Come on." He's like, "Nope, nope, nope." It was this whole thing. And then sorry, I just blanked for a second. Yeah, no. Comedy was great. As I said, Miss Chen adds some great comedy as well. Venom and Eddie just bounce really well off each other. Even Cletus gets some comedic moments. Trying to think of more pauses of this movie, because there is a big glaring issue with this movie, which I'm going to get into in the negatives. The CGI is another thing in this movie that I really liked. Carnage and Venom both look great. A lot of the scenes though, actually I'll get to that part in the negatives as well. we don't often get to see just Venom walking around normally. Like usually he's in an action shot where he's either running or like punching someone or doing his whole Venom thing. But in this, we get to see a scene of Venom like in a nightclub of all places, like just vibing, got the glowy necklaces, and we just see him standing still. And that was like when I kind of noticed, I was like, oh wow, they did like a really good job. Like he looks like he could be there. Like a little cartoony, obviously, because it's Venom, but like close enough, honestly, to the real deal. And Carnage looked great. He had these like tendrils coming out of him the whole time. Those looked awesome. Yeah, not much else in terms of CGI, just because it's mainly just Venom and Carnage that were used CGI wise. But yeah, the visual effects were great. The city, I've never been to San Francisco, but I imagine they did a pretty good job of either recreating San Francisco or maybe they filmed in San Francisco. I don't really know that, to be honest, but yeah, it looked like a pretty normal American city in general. And then the beach scenes at the end seemed pretty realistic looking as well. Um, More positives on the movie. There's a really cool scene actually where Cletus Cassidy is explaining his traumatic past, and it kind of shows it instead of just real time visuals. It shows it in terms of like illustrations, like black and red, which kind of represented the Carnage character more, and also the blood letter that Cletus Cassidy wrote to Tom Hardy, aka Eddie Brock, aka Venom. No, that part was really cool. It shows Cletus Cassidy's past of him like killing his grandma, killing his mom, getting beat by his dad, just basically going off his rocker, getting put in a mental asylum, all that kind of fun stuff, I guess. That part was really cool. The yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I think that's basically all the positives of this movie. I'm just gonna get it out of the way right now. This movie wasn't great. It's kind of just okay. I think it's a bit better than the first Venom movie. But honestly, when I heard that Andy Serkis was directing it, and when I saw that it was Carnage and Woody Harrelson and all this, I expected a bit more. And I'm going to get into the negatives of it now. So while I said that the comedy was really good and that I really did enjoy the comedic aspects, I kind of wanted it to be a bit more intense. Like this is Carnage. This is Venom's greatest foe. I wanted to see more fighting between Venom and Carnage. I feel like the PG-13 rating held this movie back a lot. I think if they would have given it that 14A, maybe even that R rating, like you could have gone a bit more gore in there, could have shown the brutality of the Carnage character and just like the absolute like off the hinge behavior of Cletus Cassidy, which we didn't really get to see. Like the only time we really get to see him doing anything super like maniacal, like psychopathic is when we see the illustration thing of him killing his grandma, mom, and getting beat by his dad. So while the comedic aspects were really good, I did kind of hope for something more in the sense of intensity, maybe even a psychological horror aspect with Carnage. Because at the end of the day, Cletus Cassidy is a serial killer who gets the symbiote, and there wasn't like a lot of horror aspects, which I didn't like. Yeah. So yeah, the comedy kind of took away from that. Also, the Carnage character itself, this movie's actually pretty short. That was another thing I didn't like. I felt like they could have benefited, this movie could have benefited a lot from maybe just like an extra half hour, because it seems like in this movie, Venom leaves Eddie, Carnage enters Cletus Cassidy, and then it just kind of goes along for a bit. Carnage escapes, and then the first time Carnage and Venom meet is the final battle. Like I wanted to see like maybe a middle battle. You know how superhero movies usually have like the beginning, then they have like a little middle fight. Like in Civil War, you get the airport fight scene, which was the one advertised in all the trailers. But that's only like the midway point of Civil War, because obviously the climax is the big fight between Captain America, Iron Man, and the Winter Soldier, aka Bucky Barnes. And I felt like this movie could have benefited from an airport fight scene, not necessarily actually like an airport fight scene per se, but just a middle fight in that sense, or just some middle conflict with the Carnage character and Eddie Brock, because we get to see them talking twice before that, but it's not when he's Carnage, it's when he's just Cletus Cassidy. So I feel like the runtime of this movie definitely hurt it at times, because when it ended, I realized, oh, this movie started at 8 and it's only like 9:50 now by the time we were on the bus home. And then I kind of clue in like, oh, but like the previews are also at 8. So the movie was only around like an hour and a half. And that obviously that used to be the norm. Like movies would be just over an hour, like hour and a half ish. But now we see movies like Avengers Endgame, which are 3 hours long. Like that's not out of the ordinary to see a 3 hour long movie. Like, and 2 hour movies are like basically commonplace today. So I feel like this could have benefited from a 2 hour runtime, but yeah, I don't really know why they didn't increase the runtime, but I guess that was Andy Serkis's vision, and we had to live with that. Other things, there was a part at the end where the main cop of the movie, who is also responsible for shooting the Shriek, not Screech, Shriek. Screech is a character from Saved by the Bell. Shriek, he's responsible for shooting her, so she's kind of like on a revenge tour to kill this cop. And then at the end, he comes back to life and he has like blue eyes, and I guess the girl is inside of him. That was kind of a weird little thing there that I don't really know why they put that in, especially when I get to the post-credit scene, because it feels like they're kind of trying to stray away from that universe going forward. Yeah, that's gonna just about do it for the negatives. Yeah, overall the movie was just kind of okay, like nothing super crazy. Like, would I watch it again? Not in theaters. I don't really feel like paying for it again, but you know, we'll see what happens. Honestly, I might pay for it again though, just to see that post-credit scene if it's not online. But yeah, let's get into that post-credit scene though, because that saved this movie for me. So I went into this movie hearing that this post-credit scene was going to be insane. So immediately I'm thinking, they're bringing Venom into the MCU. They're somehow going to connect it. Me and my roommate Mason, we thought that maybe it was going to be Andrew Garfield shows up at the end, kind of showing that this is in the same universe as the Amazing Spider-Man movies. And I thought that would have been really cool to kind of bridge that, like bring it back to that Amazing Spider-Man and kind of show that this universe still exists. Also kind of setting up that Andrew Garfield is most likely going to be in either future Venom movies or just in general Spider-Man No Way Home, which is the big rumor that him and Tobey Maguire are going to be in that movie. But we did not get that. Instead, we got something maybe even better. I don't know. So basically, it ends. Eddie Brock and Venom are alone together on this like beach somewhere, you know, on the run from the cops, presumably, like just hiding out. And then then we get to the post-credit scene. They're in a hotel room watching the soap opera on TV, debating about the characters, saying, "Oh, I can't believe he did this to her." All this, it's like really funny. But then all of a sudden, we see this big blinding light. The ground starts shaking. The earth was quaking. My mind was racing. You were shaking. Yeah, you. Shout out to ACDC. Yeah. So anyway, so big blinding light. Everything's going whack. TV starts going all staticky. All of a sudden, Eddie Brock's like, "What just happened?" Looks at the TV. Tom Holland's Spider-Man is on there. It's the scene from Far From Home where he's like unmasked, like basically by Mysterio. Like he tells him they tell him the identity. Then like Tom Hardy turns into Venom and he looks at the TV. He's like, "I want him." So basically setting up Venom to be in Spider-Man No Way Home, which leads me to believe in the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, we saw a character smash through the wall, and a lot of people thought it was the Lizard or Venom, but most people thought it was the Lizard just because we had seen these characters from other Spider-Man movies, so we thought maybe it would be the Lizard. But now, after seeing this, I'm pretty convinced it's actually Venom. And with that, though, we gotta think: is Venom going to be the anti-hero character in this? Is he going to be a straight up villain, or is he going to be a good guy and help Tom Holland? Now, I'm kind of on the anti-hero thing. Like maybe Venom wants to eat this guy. I don't know why. Maybe Yeah, honestly, I don't really know what's gonna happen with the Venom character in Spider-Man No Way Home. Maybe he's not even gonna be in Spider-Man No Way Home. Maybe he's gonna be in the fourth Spider-Man movie. I'm guessing he's gonna be in No Way Home though. But yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes because we've never seen like another universe of movies be roped into the MCU like this. Because it's been rumored that Venom was eventually gonna be brought into the MCU, but it was never like guaranteed until now. So that's really cool. I can't wait to see Venom. I've always wanted to see Venom in the MCU just in general as a character because he is one of the most popular villains, not just in Spider-Man, but in comics in general. Shout out to, oh crap, he's Canadian. Crap, I forget the name of the guy, but there's a Canadian guy that created Venom, one of the most famous comic book illustrators of all time. He also designed the Edmonton Oilers oil drop jersey, the one with the big gear on it. He designed those as well. Oh man, his name was just in my head. Anyways, I'll get back to that next week, I guess, with that. But yeah, no, the post-credit scene was amazing. It just sets up so much for the MCU, like with the multiverse, and just shows that like you can bring in anyone, which makes me think like we're gonna see maybe those characters from other universes, maybe Tobey Maguire, maybe Andrew Garfield, maybe the Lizard, maybe the Dragonfly from superhero movie played by Drake Bell. Yeah, we don't talk about Drake Bell here. That man is behind bars. Anywho, yeah, no, the post credit scene definitely saved this movie. As I said to people yesterday, I gave the movie a 6.5 out of 10 after watching it, but I gave the post credit scene a 12. So that was that just shows how much I enjoyed that scene. But today I will be giving my honest opinion. I'm gonna be going out of I'm switching to a 10 scale from now on because I feel like the 5 scale doesn't do enough justice. So as I just said, I'm sticking with what I said yesterday. I'm gonna give Venom Let There Be Carnage a 6.5 out of 10. And I'm giving the post-credit scene a 12 out of 10. So take that 12 out of 10 with a grain of salt. Obviously, that's not a real review. So I guess it's a 10 out of 10, but I'm giving it a 12 just because it was so sick. It sets up so much. I guess I'll talk a bit about the new What If episode. Basically, we saw What If Ultron won. Ultron busts through the multiverse, fights the Watcher, and then we see the Watcher teaming up with evil Doctor Strange at the end to set up the season finale of What If. What If has just gradually gotten better since the first episode. The first episode I wasn't super crazy about, the Captain Carter episode, but it's just kind of gradually gotten way better. And then this week was possibly the best one yet with What If Ultron had won. Because, I've always thought about that. Like, what if Ultron had, like, dropped Sokovia on the world? What if he had gone into the Vision body? Like, what if that happened? And I always thought, like, oh, yeah, he'd probably be, like, the most powerful being. And this kind of showed that, yeah, if he won, he would have taken over the world. Like, he straight up slices Thanos in half with his mind. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But also makes me wonder, why didn't the Vision just slice Thanos in half in Wakanda? Sounds like lazy writing. Anyways, yeah, I give that new episode of What If a 9 out of 10. Is very good. I especially love when the Watcher went Super Saiyan. That was also very cool. Oh, and Ultron's outfit, and that was super dope because he had the Vision body, but then he kind of remade his old Ultron body around him, and it had like the Infinity Stones on his chest rather than on a gauntlet or something like that, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, it's just really cool to see this character that we've already seen before, but in another dimension where he wins, just absolutely like not destroying the multiverse, but like just going into the multiverse in general, and makes us wonder, like, are we going to see this character maybe in the actual MCU? Like, is he going to be a future Avengers villain? Like, I forget what they called him. I saw a video about it where he's like, it was kind of reminding me of like Dragon Ball Z, like Perfect Cell. The way they described him, it was like, is like Divine Ultron or like Supreme Ultron or something. Yeah, it's just Ultron with the Supreme logo across his chest. Basically, that's what he is. But no, it's really cool to see that. It sets up a lot for the finale, like evil Doctor Strange and the Watcher teaming up, like enemies just coming together. I'm really excited for it. excited to see where What If goes. I'm excited to see what it sets up because, as we know, these are canon to the MCU. So we can see characters like Evil Doctor Strange, like crazy cool if he won Ultron, T'Challa Star-Lord, all this. And in the previews for What If, we did see like a team up of Party Thor, T'Challa Star-Lord, Gamora with like Thanos armor. There was someone else in there. Oh, who else? There was another hero in there. I think it might have been Captain Carter, probably. But yeah, we see like the galactic kind of Avengers, like the What If version of the Avengers, doing their like the classic Avengers team up circle stance from the first Avengers movie. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. But guys, that's gonna just about do it for today. Once again, if you want to follow me on Instagram at Film Time with Fava, that's the show account. At Favalicious, that's the personal account. On Twitter at @A_Fav24. Once again, thank you to Fired Up Network for bringing this podcast, this show, should I say, to you every week. You know, they do a lot for me, help me get this out to you, help me share my views on film, all my information with all of you. So yeah, big shout out to Fired Up Network for that. Shout out to you guys for watching every week. 17 episodes. Crazy we come this far. Definitely did not think you guys would enjoy my opinions on film as much as you have been, but yeah, it's good to see. And yeah, I guess on that note, guys, I'm Anthony Fava, and this is as real as it gets. I will see you next week.